The schools in our area just finished up for summer, and it has put me into a reflective mood, and it's also made me want to have a bit of a clean slate. And so in this video, I'm just taking down a bunch of the artwork and different work pieces that we have on our wall that my sons have created. And yeah, just the end of the school year made me want to have a fresh, clean slate. And although of course I'm a home educator, so I don't have to follow the school holidays or anything like that, it did make me want to have just kind of like a reflective moment and just think about our home education year in general. And so I'm going to share some of reflections and thoughts with you on that. And I do want to share specifically around the question of, is my child missing out by being home educated? Because I know this is a very common worry for home educators who are in their first year or who are very new to home educating. And so I really wanted to kind of flesh this out and talk about this in this video. And you can watch me take down a lot of the things from our wall while I'm doing so, and while I'm explaining that to you, and also just showing you a bit of my evening routine as a home educating parent. So the first thing I want to talk about is that it feels weird to be separate. It just does. It is separation, no matter whether you have a home education community or not. It is still not the most common thing to be a home educator in the UK. And so there is a level of separation there from the people around you who are not home educating. Our kids are not in school, so they're not getting a lot of the things, the end of school year rituals that happen within the school system. So for example, there is no school assembly for me to attend. I have no schoolwork to get home from my son. There is no report card to reassure me that my child is learning. And then there are some of the more silly things which seem to matter as much, which is no sports day and no winning awards. And here I'm just showing you in the video the schedule that we have. I've just taken it down because we're going to have a different summer schedule, but this is the schedule we've had up until this point. So that's a little sneak peek into our schedule there. And now I'm into our kind of project art room area, and I'm taking down some of the things that we have on our board there. But back to what I was saying. It does feel weird to be separate, and there is separation from us, home educators, and those whose kids go to school. And some of the things I do feel like I'm missing out on. I do wish I had a school assembly to attend. I do sometimes wish for a report card to reassure me that my child is learning. And I do wish sometimes for the silly things like a sports day to watch my son run a race, or to go to an evening award ceremony or awards within an assembly at school and watch them getting an award for being best at maths or best attendance. These are some things that I sometimes wish that I had. And so if I sometimes wish this, I know that new home educators or people who are just about to start home educating definitely wish this and think and worry about these things. And so I'm a few years into this home education journey now, and so my thoughts do not get stuck there. I have a very minor moment of wishing, and then I'm going to share with you now what I then move my thoughts onto. So it can't be easy as a new first-time home educator. It can be easy for you to focus on what you're missing out on, but you struggle to see what you're getting instead because you haven't yet experienced it. And here I'm just showing you where I store all of our most recent artwork and projects. And as you can see, it's a very, very full basket, which I really need to go through and sort out and just decide what we're keeping and what we're getting rid of, because this is only a very small selection of all the artwork and projects that my son has brought home. We have a lot more, and brought home from like different clubs that they attend and things that they just made within the home as well. We have so much stuff. So go back to that point about no schoolwork to take home or no projects to take home. I think you'll find that we have a ton of artwork and evidence of learning throughout our home. So I don't think that is one really I need to worry too much about. And here I'm just doing what I do in the evenings once a week, and I'm going through our home education cart and just doing a little bit of a clear out and sort through that. So that's what I'm doing there. So what I was saying was, it can be easy as a new first-time home educator to focus on what you're missing out on and to struggle to see what you're getting instead because you haven't yet experienced it. But because I am a slightly more experienced home educator than those who are doing it the first time, I can share with you what you are missing out on and what you are getting instead. So I've just shared with you already some of the things I think that I feel like I'm missing out on sometimes. And now I'm going to go on and share with you things that they're getting instead. And yeah, I'll share that with you in a second. But first of all, I do want to just let you know that I have a first year. I know that the first year of home education can be overwhelming and scary. And so I have my first steps into home education masterclass, which helps you take that very first step. It's very hard to be a first-time home educator and in your first year, but this masterclass will help you take that very first step. We'll go through some of the most common worries that you have, and it is for you if you are about to go into or are in your first year of home education with a 4 to 6 year old child. It is for you. I'll leave it linked down below, and that is a really great resource that I encourage you to check out so that you can feel more confident as you go into this first year. Now, moving on, I was talking before about how your child will not have a report card because they are not at school, right? If they're home educated. But that also means that there is no tests, there is no pressure, there is no external judgment. You get to judge for yourself whether your child is learning or not. There might be no winning awards, but it also means that your child is not judging their abilities on whether or not they won an award. They can still believe that they are good at maths, even if they don't win an award, because there is no award to be won. And as a home educator, you can also pick your own awards. You can decide your child has put a lot of effort in this year to their learning and go and take them for ice cream. There is no schoolwork to take home. There's no wasting time also on busy work. There's no wasting time standing around waiting for others so they can learn in school. You get to see your child learning every single day, and they get all the extra time back to learn what they want to learn as well. And like I said, you'll end up with probably more art and projects than you know what to do with anyway. Last one, no school assembly or sports day. The home education community is amazing at creating alternatives to these things. And you can create your own alternatives or to engage in some of the alternatives that the wider home education community provides. So for me, I do miss out a little bit. I do miss a little bit sometimes on seeing my son in assembly, but I get that because my church puts on a little show every half a year or so, and I get to see him do a little bit in that, and that kind of fills my need for a school assembly. And I also get to see my son play football every week when he goes to his club, and that kind of fills that a little bit. But if I had a desire for something more, then I could easily plug into one of these other home education communities and do something a little bit more there, because there are so many opportunities within the home education community. It is absolutely wonderful and marvellous. So we've talked a lot about what home education kids are not getting. They are not getting schoolwork to take home, they're not getting school assemblies, they're not getting report cards, and I've kind of reframed that in a way that is actually, for the most part, a good thing. And even if it is not a good thing, for example, the school assembly, if you wished your child to be in that and to see them in that, there is really great home educational alternatives. And so now I want to talk about what to focus on instead. Instead of thinking about what your child is missing out on as a home educator, we're now going to think about what your home educated child is getting instead of the things that school provides, the traditions and the rituals that you have within a school setting. And so, what your home educated child is getting, they're getting time. You are getting hundreds of hours back with your child. And this can sometimes be hard to comprehend, to understand, and it is most noticeable to me in the moments when you look around and realise how different and free your life is. So for example, we went camping a few weeks back during term time. It was quiet, it was cheap, it was outdoors, it was lovely, wonderful memory making time. And the moment that I really stuck in my mind was just as we were going to sleep in the tent, my sons were in the other side of the tent and they were having a lovely moment, which doesn't often happen or doesn't always happen. They were having a moment where they were just colouring nicely and they were just listening to their Yoto players, and it was just starting to get dark and it was just a moment of calm and peace. And I thought this is what home education is about. It's about connection, it is about learning, and it is about just having that time together. And it happens in the smaller, quieter moments as well. On a slow Monday morning in your house, you're not rushing off to school. You can do calm learning activities. You can read together. You can do walks. We make our own schedules as home educators. And the best thing about home education that almost everyone will agree with is the time that it gives you with your child. Time goes incredibly fast, doesn't it? And it's talked about so much. But just think about your child who's now turning 5, and you can remember their birth as if it was yesterday. It seems like such a short period of time. But if you put your child into school, think how much shorter that time will feel, because it is a lot shorter. You're not getting all this time with your child because it will be in school, and school will take away all that time that you could have with your child. So our home educated kids are getting, the biggest thing they're getting is time back with their families, time back to learn at their own pace, and it's just the most wonderful thing about home education. Okay, I'll stop going on about that now. The next thing home educated kids get, we get money. Now I know money can be a touchy subject, and I don't mean we're getting money as in we're getting given money, because in the UK we don't get given money for home education, and even a lot of people will think it is a big sacrifice because you lose an income potentially. We certainly lost an income when I became a stay-at-home mum and home educator, but you do recover some of that money because you can do holidays during term time. A good example of this for our family is that we love to go to centre parks. I know it's a love-hate kind of relationship, but we love to go, and we can go at the absolute cheapest time because our kids are home educated. If we went during the school holidays, we wouldn't be able to go. Even if I had an income, we wouldn't be able to go. We wouldn't want to go at that price. It's just ridiculous. But we love to go to centre parks out of term time, and it is wonderful. So there is ways that you kind of get money back when your kids are not in school. Okay, next thing, our home educated kids are getting community. I'm not talking about adults having friends and kids having separate friends, but I'm talking about whole families. And I can talk about community for a long time, and I'm not going to here because that's not what this is about. But community and working on that is one of the best things we can give our children as home educators. And it is much easier in the home education community because a lot of more people are looking for community rather than just casual friendships and adults having friends and kids having separate friends. We can really come together and become much more of a community, and it is wonderful, and it's something that I'm constantly working towards getting more and deeper community. Next, freedom. This kind of ties in with time one a bit, but freedom. Our kids get so much freedom. Even if you use curriculum, there is so much freedom for our kids to just explore their interests. There is so much extra time. There is so much less rushing from here to there to the next place, and so you get so much more time back. And within that time is the freedom for them to learn things that they want to learn, to explore their interests, to just be, to live. It's wonderful. Another thing that kind of ties into that point is they get to learn at their own pace. They don't have to go faster to keep up with the class. They don't have to go slower to keep up with the class. They can go exactly their own pace, and they have a tailored learning experience. It is incredible that they can have a tailored learning experience, because that is impossible in a classroom. No matter how good a teacher is, they cannot provide a tailored learning experience, and yet at home, that is exactly what we provide. And the final point that I'm going to talk about here is our children get protection. A lot of people talk about home educated kids being sheltered, and I honestly don't really have a problem with my children being sheltered from some of the things in this world. I want them to be sheltered from bullying. I want them to be sheltered from phone addiction, from social media. I really want my children to be sheltered from those things. Just a little pause to talk about what I'm showing here. This is me doing my weekly review, which I do every single week, and it's a little part of the record keeping that I do within my home education life. And this really keeps us on track with the kind of goals that we have as a family, and I do it every single week. And actually I write in this every single day, but I do the weekly review every single week. And that really keeps us on track and make sure that I am getting to where I want to be getting and want our family to keep going forwards. And it's just a really great planning tool that I have. So that's what I'm doing there. So as I was saying, protection. My kids are protected from social media craziness and from bullying. And there's so many other things that I could go into, but I'm not going to. The social media age is scary, and I want my kids to be protected from that. So yes, please, they can be protected from that as much as possible. Thank you very much. So yes, I'm quite happy with some of the things that my child is missing out on. They are missing out on things. And some of the things I'm like, yes, I would like my child to miss out on this, thank you very much. And there are other things which I'm like, it might be quite nice to go to an assembly. It might be quite nice to go to a sports day. But then I realise there are so many other great alternatives within the home education community. I can create my own versions of these things, and it is certainly not compelling enough reason to consider ever putting my child into school. And so I really hope that has given you some food for thought if you are worried about your child missing out when they attend school, and when they don't attend school rather, that you're worried that they are missing out on something that school is giving them. And yeah, those are my thoughts on that. This is just me realising at the end of the video, I was like, oh no, wait, I haven't taken down everything from the walls. So this is like the last little wall of things that I have to take down. And this is actually the maps. So every morning, as part of our morning time, we colour in a different country. And that is something that all three of my children can take part in. My 2-year-old and my older sons as well can all take part in colouring in this whole country. And it's a little bit of easy geography. It takes like 30 seconds every morning, but it does help to build up their awareness of the different countries of the world. I think I'm going to show you them here as well. There you go, those little maps that we coloured in, and we've tied that in. And every morning we also look in our atlas at the different, and we read like 1 or 2 facts of each of the countries. We started off with Europe because that was like the most important one. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Look, my wall is clear. So guys, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.